You know, in the NBA, being down 17 points on the road, that's pretty much a death sentence. But for the Los Angeles Clippers on this one particular night, it was really just the beginning of one of the wildest, most improbable comebacks of the entire season. So let's get into exactly how they pulled it off.
17. Just think about that number for a second. That is the hole the Clippers found themselves in, on the road against a Warriors team that, almost never gives up a big lead at home. Statistically, a comeback from that deep is practically a fantasy. So how in the world did it become a reality?
And yet, they did it. I mean, look at this box score. It tells a story of two completely different basketball games in one. The Clippers were down 14 at the half, right? Only to come out and just completely dominate the second half, outscoring the Warriors by 27 points. It's just a staggering reversal. The real question is, what on earth changed in that locker room at halftime?
So let's really set the stage for this uphill battle. You've got the Clippers in a hostile San Francisco arena, and they were getting thoroughly outplayed. By all accounts, this thing was shaping up to be just another forgettable loss on a long road trip. But, and this is a huge piece of the puzzle here, this comeback didn't just happen in a vacuum. To really understand how the door was even open for the Clippers, you first have to understand who wasn't on the court for Golden State. They were wounded. I mean, this list of missing players is just staggering. You've got Stephen Curry, the absolute heart and soul of their offense, out for his 11th straight game. Then their key big man, Kristaps Porzingis, sidelined with an illness. And even the rookie Will Richard was out with a sprained ankle. That is a massive amount of firepower and defensive presence just sitting on the bench in street clothes.
Meanwhile, over on the Clippers side, this night was supposed to be a celebration, right? It was the debut of their big trade deadline acquisition, Darius Garland. Instead, his very first game almost ended in total disaster.
So late in the second quarter, Garland and Moses Moody go for a loose ball and just collide. Hard. It was a really scary moment. Moody's shoulder seemed to catch Garland right in the face. But after this really tense pause, both guys managed to shake it off and stay in the game. It was this quiet display of toughness that would pretty much define the rest of the night.
After that absolutely brutal first half, everything changed coming out of the locker room. I mean, the entire story of this game was about to be completely rewritten. The Clippers started to just methodically chip away, and you could physically feel the energy in that building begin to shift.
This one sequence in the third quarter, this was the flashpoint. Follow this. With about 3 minutes left, it's Darius Garland, the same guy who took that hard fall, who steps up and drills a huge three-pointer. Just moments later, Kris Dunn rips a steal and takes it all the way for a fast break layup. In a matter of seconds, that insurmountable lead was suddenly, shockingly, within reach. By the end of the third quarter, the damage was done. That massive 17-point deficit, it had been carved all the way down to just 2. The score is 79-77 heading into the final frame. The comeback wasn't just a possibility anymore. Oh no, it was happening. And now we get to the final act. In the fourth quarter, the Clippers didn't just keep their momentum going. They used it to break the Warriors completely. This wasn't just about catching up anymore. This was about total domination. Here's exactly how they seized control. Right out of the gate, they launched this decisive 9-4 run. That single little spurt put them ahead 88-81, and from that moment on, they never trailed again. Just a dominant, definitive finish. You know, a comeback of this size isn't just about strategy or X's and O's. It's about players making huge plays. So let's put a spotlight on the individual performances that really define this game's wild swing. To really get the second half, you have to look at what happened to the Warriors' Brandin Podziemski. In the first half, he was absolutely on fire, dropping 20 points. But in the second, the Clippers made a key adjustment. They started trapping him off screens, forcing the ball out of his hands, and basically daring other players to beat them. The result? He was held to just 2 points on 1-for-6 shooting. It was a defensive masterclass that just choked off the Warriors' main source of offense. So on the other side of that coin, you have the Clippers' heroes. The specific players who stepped up when it mattered most and willed their team not just back into the game, but all the way to a victory. Leading the charge, of course, was the ever-reliable Kawhi Leonard, and his 23 points don't even tell the full story. He was the calm in the middle of the storm, that veteran presence who hit big shots and made smart plays to anchor the comeback when things could have gotten chaotic. And then you had Kris Dunn, who was the absolute engine of this whole rally. His 16 points were crucial, yeah, but it was his 7 rebounds and 7 assists that really tell the tale. The guy was just
everywhere, disrupting passing lanes on defense, creating easy looks for everybody else on offense. A fantastic all-around game.
And you cannot forget the new guy, Darius Garland. After getting absolutely rocked by that collision in the first half, a lot of players would have been tentative, but not him. He came back to score 12 huge points, including that massive three that kickstarted the whole run. What a display of resilience in his very first game as a Clipper.
So what's the ultimate takeaway from this incredible night? I mean, on one hand, you've got the Clippers showing a whole new level of grit, rallying behind their new star. But on the other hand, you've got a Warriors team that's just decimated by injuries, looking like a shadow of their former selves. So is this a genuine turning point for a rising Clippers team, or was it simply a case of a healthy team taking advantage of a wounded opponent? That's the big question this stunning comeback leaves us all with.